You've heard of the movie The Pirates of the Caribbean, and you may even have seen it, and you've heard of the pirates that used to rob people on the high seas during the 1700s and thereabout. And what they do is they would get their booty and they would bring it right here to this place called Port Royal. That's where I am right now. And you can see a part of the ruins of the port all the way over there in the background. And these edifices that you see here show some cannons that were used during the war between the British and the Spaniards, as the British sought to defeat the Spaniards who had occupied Jamaica for some, perhaps by the time about some 200 years. Jamaica came under British rule in 1655. Of course, it wasn't long after that, in 1692, that the great earthquake of Port Royal took place, and it sank this city, called Port Royal, which was a very, very wealthy city. In fact, it was the wealthiest city in the world at the time, the richest city in the world at the time, because of all the wealth that was the pirates took from different merchants on the high seas and brought here. This city of Port Royal was all stones. The buildings were made out, they had cobblestone roads, and the buildings were made of stone. So much so that even the headquarters of the government, the official parliament building, was moved here at one time. And eventually the city sank, and after it sank, it was largely uninhabited. And now there are people living over here. Of course, those behind me are tourists, but there in the distant background, you can see an apartment building that appears to be occupied by residents of Port Royal. But in any case, there are people who do live here currently, and they during the Hurricane Beryl, which just recently passed by Jamaica and caused a lot of damage with the outer bands of the hurricane, they were asked to leave by the mayor of Kingston, but they very vehemently refused his entreaties to leave and go to some kind of shelters. Instead, they stayed right here. And fortunately for them, with all the battering that the coastal areas took, they apparently survived because there were no deaths reported in this area.